The Wounded Eagle, a journey to Rhosgobel. After a fierce conflict with a group of trolls, you come across a fallen eagle, grievously wounded and on the verge of death. Setup: search the encounter deck for Rhosgobel and Wilyador, and add them to the staging area with 2 damage tokens on Wilyador. Then shuffle the encounter deck. Okay, so this is Journey to Rhosgobel. Haha, so I showed you the whole setup this time. I had some people saying I was stacking the decks, which is ridiculous because I showed the shuffling in all the other videos as well. But this time I showed the whole thing, even the, because in the other videos I just showed you a quick shuffle. Like while I was talking, I just did a quick reshuffle. But this time I showed you all the actual shuffling and stuff. Okay, so this is Journey to Rhosgobel, and it's a very, very hard quest. This is the hero team we're using. We're using Denathor, and we're using Gloin, and we're using Éowyn. Now, I really wanted to use Eleanor. Like, I tried. This is actually, I think, version 18 of the decks that I was playing with, trying to find a deck that had a good win ratio against this quest. And it's hard to get. Éowyn allows us to quest comfortably, and that's a huge deal because this quest is timed. See, what happens is this guy comes and joins us. This is Wilyador the Eagle, right? And he is an ally, and he has 1/1/1/20, and he can't have attachments, and he gets 2 damage every single turn. So that's a clock. When he gets to 20, it's game over. Now, if we quest too slowly, he's going to die. And with Eleanor, I just had real trouble getting the questing power working, even though it's safer, because this has got a lot of treacheries in it, right? And then we had Denathor. He's not for what he's usually used for. Now, usually you put in Denathor to control the quest deck, but in this, it's not. What happens is, when we get to the 3rd quest, right, the game is over. So there's actually only 2, even though there's 3 quest cards. And what happens is, inside that deck, there's these items which you'll see, which heal Wilyador 5 points. Okay? Now, if we get to quest 3, and there's only 8 on the first quest and 12 on the second quest, then we lose the game. We have to heal this guy 100%. Remember, he takes 2 damage every turn. Otherwise, we lose the game on the 3rd part of the quest. So timing is critical. I mean, this is a pretty difficult quest. It has a huge amount of treachery, so, you know, single turn can end the game, but we'll just see how well we can get this to function. Now this deck has a pretty good, now as you saw, I drew a pretty bad first hand and I had to mulligan, and our second hand is a lot better. We don't have a lot of the stuff that we want, but we do have three very important things. We have Will of the West to deal with those treacheries. That is huge. We have a Gandalf, okay? And Gandalf in this quest is not used for threat reduction, he's not used for damage, he's used for card draw. And of course we have a thing to do card draw, plus we've got a healer. This is a pretty decent hand, and we've even got our little recovery card. So we've got a very good hand here, and we'll see how we go. Now, right, so let's go to 1B. Oh, by the way, yep, it's tragic. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. Anyway, the eagle's wounds cannot be tended in the wilderness. You attempt to bring the creature to Rhosgobel, where the wisdom of Radagast the Brown may be his only hope. Okay, so this is an 8-point quest to get through, and this is Rhosgobel. Now, Rhosgobel is quite an interesting card. Okay, it can take player card effects. It's 1 cost. I should probably put a thing on that. So it's 1 cost, 1 threat, 4 to pass, and while it's in the staging area, we cannot heal Wilyador. But we can't travel to this unless we get a quest effect. And what happens is when you go to 2B, well, it says here, players must complete stage 1 of the quest before they can travel to Rhosgobel. So we found the eagle, we're heading to Rhosgobel before we can start to heal him. And he has a total of 1 threat up there. Ooh, sort of put this where you can see it. Okay, so with any luck, we'll be able to get this quest done. This is a very hard quest, and I've got about, this deck is actually pretty good at it, but it's not the kind of deck that people are going to go, wow, that's an awesome deck. It's just a brute force draw deck must win. Because the deal is, we've only got a really limited time, and so we need to burn this deck as quickly as possible to find the atlases, or however it's pronounced, and we need to burn this deck as quickly as possible to find our healing spells. And so this game should be over quickly. It's probably taking me longer to do this than it's going to do to play the game. If the deck works, we should burn a lot of cards into our hand really quickly and burn this deck really fast. So let's see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's draw 1 card. And we have a Silverborn Archer. Okay, so everyone gets a resource. 1, 1, and 1. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is spend 1 resource and sneak attack Gandalf into the quest stage while we're questing like so. We want to get through this stage as quickly as possible, and we're going to use his ability to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Okay, so this gets to the discard pile, and now we're questing. So we reveal, and we have some bats. So that's 1, 2. We're questing for 8, 9, 10, 11. Which means we have 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's already passed. We'll do end of that quest. Don't go. And we have now passed 1. Okay. Now, this says players must complete stage 1 of the quest before they can travel to Rhosgobel. So we've completed that stage. We're now traveling to Rhosgobel. And now let's quickly read 2A. The eagle's health has grown worse, but you have at last arrived at Rhosgobel, where Radagast examines the bird. He then asks you to head out into the wilderness to find the healing plant Athalis. Athelas, whatever. Anyway, meantime, any healing lore or supplies your party has at its disposal could be used to assist in comforting the eagle until you return. And here is 2B. You'll note that it's only 12 spots, so we've got to be very careful with overquesting in this. In fact, you die more from overquesting. Now, there's a huge big forced response here, but I never use it. It's much more useful in multiplayer games where you're drawing so many extra cards. But in a single player game, it's just no point in using this. What happens is you can put X amount of damage where X is the number of players. So we can put 1 damage on Wilyador in order to look at the top 3 cards and discard 1. Now, discard 2 and put 1 into the staging area, okay? Now, it's good because it burns this deck down a lot faster, but I just don't like doing it, so I'm not going to use that. We just scrape in. And then the forced effect is after a card heals Wilyador, remove that card from the game. So that's pretty important as well. Okay, so that's where we are. And now this guy attacks us. This guy goes back into our hand. This guy gets a card revealed. It is an Atlas. Great. That goes into the discard pile. He attacks for 1. We're going to place the damage on Gloin, and Gloin gets a resource every time he's damaged, so he goes up to 1 like that, and we're done. I now tap Denathor and reveal a card. Now, basically, normally you go, okay, that's 1, and you know what's coming next and you plan your questing, but the whole point is we've got to burn it down. We want to get these things, this is from the discard pile, right? We want to get these things into our hands. So, the idea is to burn this down. So we put this on the bottom. No matter what card we draw, if it's not one of these, it goes on the bottom. Doesn't matter what it is, because we want to get through this deck as quickly as possible. So that goes on the bottom. And now we untap. So choing, 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 choing. This goes to 1. This goes, we start at 27, is that right? No, wait, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9 and 8, that's 26. So we're at 27 now. Thought that was wrong. Okay, so now this guy goes to 4 damage. This guy goes to 2 damage. This guy goes to 2 damage. And this guy goes to 2 damage. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of options here. The first thing we're going to do is spend 2. We're going to spend 1 and 1 and play out our neutral card, Shadow of the Past War, and that allows us to take the topmost card from the encounter deck, discard, and put it on the top of the encounter deck, which happens to be one of these. So put this on top, this gets discarded, and then I'm going to spend 1 from my Aowen and place out an Ancient Mathan and stick that on Rhosgobel. And now we're going to quest for 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Reveal. It's the Atlas, which is guarded, so out comes another card. And boom! That is a when revealed effect. Now this when revealed effect is pretty harsh. Deal 2 damage to each exhausted character, so that's pretty dangerous. But we are going to cancel that, like so. Discard, discard, and that's it. So now we're questing for 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 4 to pass this, and 3 on here. So we're over questing, but we do beat this, which is good. This goes into our discard. We draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Found it. Woohoo! This goes into our victory pile because it's got 4 victory points. Yay! Okay. Now, this goes here. Click. Gets discarded. 1 damage. This goes to 2. This goes to 2, and now we can tap Denathor See what's next. It's Orcs, he goes on the bottom. Chunk. Okay, so untap, 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 untap. We go to 2, 2. We go to 7, to 8, oh yeah. And, well, oh, draw a card. Doing. Okay, so we've got tons of card draw in our hand, but the important thing is we've got a steward. Oh wait, we've got to do this, don't we? So this goes to 6, this goes to 1, this goes to 3, and this goes to 2. Okay, so the first thing is this goes to 1, and we place out steward, tap it straight away, and give him an extra 2 credits, so he's got 4 credits now. And I think we don't have a healer. I think what we're going to do is, oh, we've got nothing but card draw in our hand. So we're going to spend 3, send him back to 1, and we're going to cast, well actually let's not do that. Not while we've got a Gandalf in hand. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cast, yeah, so, oh wait, no, we do have a healer. So we're going to go 3 and put out a healer. And then we're going to spend 1 and put out where is he? Gandalf. Gandalf goes out and we get, and this is the quest phase. So Gandalf comes out, we draw 3 cards, 1, 2, there's a heal, 3, more card draw, my god, this has got so much card draw in this deck, it's bonkers. Okay, so I didn't discard that. Right. Now, we don't want to quest too much, okay? So we're actually just going to quest, actually we'll quest with, no, we'll just quest with, let me think. We've got 3 out of 12. We want to be able to rush to a finish if possible. We've already got 10 healing and we're not even over 6. So let's just rush. Let's just go 4, 8. Okay, so we're going to go 8. This gets revealed. It is a gold Beastmaster at 35. We are only at threat 28, so he does not attack us. And there's 2 threat, so we've got 6 in on the quest. Which means we are at 9, because we're questing for 8, and there's 2 in the staging area. So that's all well and good. Okay, so now he doesn't attack us, but this guy does. So he gets a card, and then what we're going to do, let me think. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so what we want to do here, we don't have any of our shadow card cancels, even though we've drawn a pretty awesome hand. This guy goes back in our hand, by the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap you, clear those 2 wounds, and just reveal this. Whoop! 1 damage to each exhausted character. Okay, that's not very cool. This girl dies. You get 1 damage. You get 1... Oh, and she's dead. She's dead, so... Okay, but nothing else happens. 1 damage. We put 1 damage on Gloin. Gives him 1 resource. And we may as well tap you and put 1 damage on you. And then we tap Gloin. And we take the Atlas. And then I'm going to tap you and draw 1 card. Wood joink. And it is 2 damage to each exhausted character. And let me just think for a second. We have no way to minimize that. 2 damage would kill her. So yeah, we're going to put that on the bottom. So much for our rushing home and winning the game. We almost finished the game in the next turn. Okay, so put that on the bottom. Let's untap everything. Go to 3. Go to 29. And draw a card. Choink. Okay, so we've got another healer. That's handy. This goes to 6, 7, 8. This goes to 2. This goes to 2. And this goes to 4. Okay, so now the question is, can we finish the game this turn? That would be brilliant if we can. We've got one of these, so we can actually clear the damage right now. So what we need to do is, let's try it. Let's just go for it. Let's spend 2 and take away 5 damage. So that is what? This goes to go to 3 with donk. And then this just goes away. And then we're going to go, we don't have any, God, this is very risky. 1, 2, 3, 4, let's leave 1 here. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place out Gandalf again. This time we're going to lower our threat by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to quest for 4, 8, 9, 10. Okay, before we quest, no, we're just going to do it. Let's just risk it. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. Reveal. It is a bat and we've won the game. How's that? Unbelievable. 2, 3. And we're questing for 11, which means we get a total of, what is it? 9. 2, 3, and 11, 9. So put 9 on that. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 9 is 18. We need 12 to pass this, so we pass it. We go to 3A. Feeling the time is running out on Wilyador's life, you gather the athletes you found and head back to Rhosgobel. You arrive at night, wondering if you found enough of the herb. We go to 3B. You note there is no success tokens needed for this. When revealed, heal 5 wounds of Wilyador for each athlete's objective card in play. So, athletes, we heal 3. If Wilyador is completely healed when this effect dissolves, he survives and the players have won the game, otherwise players have lost the game. So that's it. Turn 3, threat 24, so that's 30, 50 points because the Rhosgobel itself is for victory. Okay, so that's actually pretty disappointing. I might actually do a second video for this quest because that's we actually thrashed this quest pretty hard. It's actually the best I've ever done. But this quest does have, this deck does have a fairly good win ratio versus this quest. As in, I don't know, maybe 3, 4 out of 5 games you'll win. So yeah, well that's it. Beaten. So what it does, the way the quests work, the way the deck works, because we didn't really see it, is of course the main purpose is to dig out these things. There's 3 of them in the deck. Okay, so this deck alone can heal for 15 wounds on that last turn. Okay, 15. And you saw how the questing worked. You want to quest as fast as possible through stage 1, and then you want to quest slowly through stage 2. Now, let's have a look at the encounter deck, okay? Oh, the next one was an Atlas. That's pretty good. Which would have been guarded by him. But say that's the next one, the Atlas. And then we have Denathor, so this would go to the bottom, this would go to the bottom. Oh, this wouldn't go to the bottom. See, this is the Forest Grove. It actually lets you search for an Atlas. So basically we had 3 Atlases in the opening sequence. So there's no way we would have lost, even if we didn't have that amazing start. And what's interesting is the FAQ in 1.4 says that these guarded effects and surge and everything only happen as they're revealed from the encounter deck, which means this effect, which can take it from the discard pile, means if these are in the discard pile, you can use this to put it into the staging area and they won't get guarded, which is new. That's a new rule. But the point is, you use Denathor to burn this deck because you want to just keep sending things to the bottom so you get to those Atlases faster. Right, now what else is going on in this deck? You didn't really see it, but these guys, and there's all these crows as well, they can only be attacked by creatures with range and only blocked by creatures with range. But most of them only do 1 damage and some of them do 2 damage. So Gloin is just a resource god. He just like, you get him and the healer out and you're just going tap, 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 just getting like tons of resources. Like he can sometimes have 8, 9 resources on him in a longer game. And to use those resources, because the biggest threat in this deck is not monsters, even though there's some pretty heavy monsters, but we have a couple of snares for those heavy monsters, and we have some Duradane caches so we can, attack. But we also have these guys, all right? But a lot of the threat comes in the form of shadow cards as well. So monsters come down, shadow cards come down. So I'm actually running 2 Dark Knowledges, which is unusual. A lot of people don't like this card, but this card is actually a very cool card for non-questers and characters. Denathor is not questing, so you can just tap him. And because no one can block the monsters, well, most of the monsters can't be blocked, by having this over Burning Brand, it means we can cast it on multiple people, you can like view the things, and you can control it a lot better. Okay, so what else have we got in here? Okay, these 2 cards are key. This card especially, getting rid of the when revealed effects. You always want to, remember how I did my resources and I did it a bit weird, so instead of paying 2 off 1 hero, I paid 1 off Gloin and 1 off Denathor, so they both had 1. That's because a lot of cards are 2 cost. This is a 1 cost, but I think of it as a 2 cost. If I have this in my hand, I want to cast this to make sure this is out of the graveyard every single time. If I can quest, I have to make sure that this is here. A lot of cards will decimate you coming off the encounter deck. So this is the target for this. You want to always try and keep 2 resources or 1 resource on Eowyn, so she has the ability to cast this and then cast this that same turn. So think of it like a 2 cost card. And then pretty much everything else is card draw. Gloin is card draw. Oh wait, these guys. Duradane Watchers, as I said, because you've got so many undefended attacks because of this, having to be an archer, this allows you to discard and take, cancel a shadow effect. Awesome. And what else have we got in here? Well, you saw this function. This allows you to draw cards from the discard pile. Very handy. We wouldn't have won the game so quickly without it. Radagast, obvious. Every turn he gets resources which can be used. So what you do, you wait till he's got 5 resources and then you've got another 5-point heal. Because Wilyador can only be healed 5 points maximum. And then more shadow effect cancels, more shadow effect cancels, more shadow effect control. And that is pretty much it. That's the deck. The deck is all about the card draw. Look at that, 3 in a row. That's pretty crazy. And there's a couple of archers in there to get rid of pesky crows and stuff. Yeah, so the idea is just to draw cards, draw cards, draw cards, get your healing and quest as quickly as possible. And as you can see, it works pretty well. Unfortunately, this game wasn't a really good example of the deck, but oh well, them's the breaks. If people are interested, I might not dismantle this deck for a while because I'm going to take a little bit of a break from doing Lord of the Rings videos for a bit because I've done a lot. Thinking of doing a new playthrough. I'm thinking maybe Touch of Evil or something, I'm not sure. But when I do, I'll leave this deck assembled for a while because I disassemble all my decks. Now the next one coming is a very, very easy one, which is one of the reasons I'm not very excited. This was very hard. I spent a lot of time on this. I like this. This is revision 17 or 18, I think, of the decks I use. I tried a whole bunch of different heroes, and you know, I really wanted to use Eleanor and Glorfindel, but I just couldn't get it to work. But this deck, very good win ratio. Check it out on Card Game Database. Have a lot of fun. Total of 50. My score was 50. I'll see you next time.